I had to work on my birthday. While I was still at my shift, I got a text from my dad. We sold your car. Family comes first. Be thankful we let you stay under this roof. A few seconds later, another one came through. Your brother's starting college. You'll cover his first semester. It's $6,100. Due this week. I told him straight up, ain't gonna happen. His reply? Then pack your stuff. You're dead to me. So I did just that. That same night, I walked out, but I didn't leave empty-handed. And I didn't leave everything behind, either. This morning, they found what I left. Now my aunt's bawling, my uncle's hollering, and my dad's out on the porch yelling to the neighbors like they're gonna save him. Honestly, I don't even know how to explain all this. It still doesn't feel real. Yesterday was my birthday. For real. I spent the whole day working, which ain't exactly new around here. My family's real into the whole earn your keep thing. My dad always said if you want something, you gotta work for it. So yeah, I was already kind of salty I couldn't even take a day for myself, but whatever. I figured I'd come home, maybe grab some takeout, chill a bit. I clocked out around 6 and was walking out, checking my phone, when I saw a bunch of messages from my dad. That didn't throw me at first. He texts about dumb stuff all the time. Like if I forgot to take out the trash or the Wi-Fi's being slow. But these were long. The first one just hits. We sold your car. Family comes first. Be grateful we let you live here. I stopped cold right there in the parking lot. Thought maybe it was one of his weird jokes. That's kinda his thing. But then I kept scrolling. There were more messages. Way too serious. One of them said, and your brother's starting college. You'll cover his first semester. $6,100 due this week. The car wasn't anything fancy. Just a beat-up used ride I bought after saving for years. I handled everything, registration, insurance, all of it. But the title? That was in my dad's name. He said it made the insurance cheaper. He insisted. I should have known that would come back to bite me, but I just needed a way to get to work without mooching rides off folks. I texted him back. Not happening. And he hit me with, then pack your shit. You're dead to me. So I walked. Didn't have a car anyway. Took me nearly an hour. Sun was going down. And I was just thinking the whole time, is this really happening? I came through the front door, and my mom was in the kitchen, washing dishes like a robot. Wouldn't even look at me. Dad was in the living room, TV blasting but not really watching it. My brother? Ethan? Nowhere in sight. I stood there and asked, so you seriously sold my car? My dad didn't even turn around. Just said, family comes first. You're old enough to help out, so you will. That's always how it is with him. The second I push back, he makes it feel like it's the whole family against me. Ethan's always been the golden boy. My aunt and uncle live a few blocks over and basically serve as my dad's backup when he wants to pile on. My mom finally speaks up. You know your brother needs this. He's got a real future. Don't be selfish. Selfish? I've been the one fixing stuff around here for years. Setting up their phones, handling bills when dad forgets, running errands left and right. He never sees that. Just thinks I'm lazy if I'm not doing exactly what he says. I went to my room and started packing. I knew where this was going. Last time I stood up to him was about loaning Ethan my laptop for a semester. He broke it. I got weeks of silence and little jabs passed through everyone else. Never to my face. Didn't have much. Just clothes, some gadgets, random junk from high school. I could hear my dad talking on the phone, probably with my uncle, saying I was being dramatic and he wasn't backing down. I called my buddy Caleb, asked if I could crash at his place for a bit. He was confused but told me sure, so I stuffed everything into 2 duffel bags and a backpack. Wasn't even thinking straight. Just mad. Pure fire in my gut. I could hear my mom crying out in the hallway, but she didn't say a word to me. As I was heading out, my dad finally stood up and blocked the door. Said if I walked out, I wasn't welcome back. Told me I should be grateful he even let me stay this long. I wasn't really listening anymore. Just wanted to get past him. He gave me a little shove, not enough to knock me down, but enough to light me up. So I shoved him back. He looked at me like I was a stray dog or something. I just stepped around him and left. All the way to Caleb's, I kept thinking, I can't let this slide. My dad talks tough, but he doesn't even know how to pay a bill online without me walking him through it. I set up everything for them, banking, phones, even his little side hustle. He sells old furniture and electronics, but he doesn't know how to use half the apps. He calls me a freeloader, but I'm the one keeping the whole thing running behind the curtain. So if I'm dead to him, I figured I might as well take everything I built with me. Nothing shady. Just removed myself from it all. Changed my passwords. Pulled my name off all the accounts and bills I managed. Shut down my end of the sale stuff. I did leave one thing behind, though, on purpose, just to see if he'd even notice. It's small, but it's got all the receipts, literally and otherwise. I sent my aunt a text letting her know I was gone. No explanation. Just told her, ask your brother. She called him right away. I could hear him yelling through the wall. I lay there on Caleb's couch, scrolling through my phone, trying to figure out if I should blow the lid off everything or just let it all fall apart on its own. Truth is, I think I always knew my dad couldn't stand that I wouldn't fall in line. Wouldn't just shut up and do what I was told. He only cares about appearances, about looking good in front of family, not about helping anyone. To him, I've always been a tool, somebody to fix his screw-ups, not a real person. Ethan's the favorite, 'cause he plays along. I'm the issue because I ask questions. I haven't slept yet. I keep checking my phone, waiting for another flood of messages, but nothing so far. Tomorrow's gonna be chaos. That thing I left behind. They'll find it. And when it all kicks off, I won't be around to sweep up the mess. I'll post an update if it goes nuclear. If not, well, I'm out. That's something. Update 1. So I'm back. And damn, I thought it was a mess before. I had no idea. Didn't sleep much at Caleb's. His couch is basically a yoga mat over old springs, and his cat thinks my head is a pillow at 2 a.m. But truthfully, I was too wired to care. My phone kept buzzing nonstop. Group chats lighting up, Aunt Diane's name popping up again and again, but I ignored all of it. I was waiting to see how long it would take for them to really understand what I'd done. The first sign was kind of funny, honestly. My cousin posted in the family Facebook group asking if someone could help her mom get back on their Wi-Fi. Not a big deal on its own, but usually that someone was me. I always handled that kind of stuff. I didn't just set up the tech at our place. I did the same for Aunt Diane and Uncle Frank too. I'd go over, reboot routers, fix printers, get the smart TVs working for the little cousins. Now they're tagging me in posts like, "Can Logan swing by?" And I just sit back and laugh. I stayed silent. But then things started getting serious. Around noon, my mom called. I didn't pick up. Then Ethan texted, said Dad was losing it because some money wasn't showing up where it should have been. He didn't spell it out, but I knew exactly what he meant. My dad can barely figure out his phone and refuses to learn how online banking works, so he'd always dump that stuff on me. I handled the bills, transfers, basically everything, because he didn't want the hassle. But last night, I pulled out of every shared account, took my own money, removed my info, deleted the banking app from his phone, and shut down all the autopays tied to my name. That included the water and power bills and the Netflix account I paid for, which Ethan shared with half the extended family. I didn't touch a dime that wasn't mine, no matter what Dad tells people. Now, of course, nothing's working. The bills are due and he has no idea what to do next. Truth is, I was basically their unpaid tech guy, bookkeeper, and errand runner rolled into one. And Dad acted like it was just my duty. He called it being old school, but that's just code for lazy, if you ask me. He always wanted to feel in charge, just without doing any of the actual work. And as for why he treats me the way he does, I've got a theory. I think it burns him up that I don't just follow orders. Ethan's the quiet one, the go along to get along type. I ask questions, push back, and he calls that attitude. He's never hit me, but he'll shove, slam doors, yell loud enough for the whole block to hear. Doesn't care if it embarrasses Mom or Ethan. He just wants to feel like he's winning. Caleb used to think I was being dramatic until I started showing him the texts. Stuff like, "You're a leech. You owe us. You wouldn't last a week on your own." I got another one while we were eating cold pizza for breakfast. All caps, just straight rage. Then around 3, something weird popped up. A Facebook Marketplace notification. One of Dad's listings had gone live, but he accidentally left my number on it. He'd been using mine for years 'cause he hates talking to strangers. Now people are texting me about old speakers. I just tell them to reach out to him directly. I know that'll drive him nuts. But hey, it's not my mess anymore. I also had access to the spreadsheet he uses to track his side hustle, selling random junk. Contacts, pickup times, inventory, all that. I removed my login but didn't delete anything. I just disconnected myself. He's gonna lose his mind when he realizes he doesn't know who's coming to the house, what's been sold, what hasn't been paid for. That's how he operates. Chaos unless I'm there cleaning it up. By late afternoon, Ethan wouldn't stop texting. At first he was pissed, then he started begging. Said dad was blaming him for everything now, and the college payment was due, but the account was locked. It wasn't locked. It just wasn't mine anymore. Now dad actually had to handle it himself. Ethan tried to lay the blame on me, but then admitted he didn't even want to go to college this year. Dad just made the call and signed him up without asking. I told him to sort it out with dad. I'm not footing the bill for someone else's life. Aunt Diane called next. I picked up, 'cause I knew if I didn't, she'd probably show up in person. She was fuming. Said dad was telling everyone I stole from the family, that I was sabotaging everything and being ungrateful. I told her to ask him how many bills were in my name. Ask how many hours I spent making sure their internet worked. Ask how many times I fixed things in the middle of the night when his buddies came over to watch a game. She hung up on me. That evening, Caleb and I were out grabbing food, and we drove past my old house. It's on the way. I saw Uncle Frank's truck in the driveway. Bad sign. Always is. He's Dad's muscle, the guy he calls when he wants backup. They were both outside, yelling at each other, and I saw my mom standing on the porch with her arms crossed, just staring at her phone. She wasn't crying. Probably didn't have any tears left. Back at Caleb's, I started getting DMs from random cousins. They wanted to know what happened, why I bailed, what everyone was so upset about. I kept it simple. Told them there was a fight. That dad sold my car. That I left. Some of them believed me. Some didn't. Aunt Diane posted in the family chat that I'd chosen to walk away from our values. I muted the chat. Whatever. I saw what was coming next anyway. Ethan texted me. He was locked out of his college account. Dad never wrote down the login info, and I was the one who set it up. He needed me to reset the password. I didn't. I sent him the customer service number and told him good luck. He called me a jerk. But I know that anger isn't really for me. It's for Dad. I just happened to be closer. This morning, I woke up to a wall of texts from Dad. The power bill's overdue. The water might get cut off. Ethan can't register for classes. Aunt Diane's threatening to get Grandma involved, like that's ever solved anything. Dad said I need to come back and fix everything, or else. I didn't respond. Caleb's mom came home and saw my bag stacked in the corner. She asked what was going on, so I gave her the short version. She just shook her head and said, "Family's weird sometimes." Then she handed me a plate of food and told me I could stay as long as I needed. I don't feel guilty. Not even a little. Everything I did was above board. I didn't take a cent that wasn't mine. I just took back what I set up and let them deal with the rest. You want to treat me like a servant? Then live without the service. Last thing, I got a message from this old guy who walks his dog past our place every morning. Barely even know him. He said he saw my dad out front looking rough, heard yelling, and wanted to check in on me. Said, "Hope you're okay, kid. Let me know if you need anything." I didn't reply, but I saved the message. Now I'm just waiting for them to find what I left behind in my room. It's not illegal, not even dramatic, really, but it's gonna piss them off. And when it does, I want them to know exactly who flipped the switch. If you've read this far, yeah, sometimes revenge isn't just walking away. It's making sure they realize exactly what they lost when they treated you like you didn't matter. Update coming soon. Assuming they don't burn the house down first. Update 2. Honestly, I didn't think I'd be posting again so soon. But things went way past what I expected. I knew my dad could be stubborn, but I didn't think he'd have a full-on meltdown in front of half the neighborhood. It's been a few days since I walked out. I figured I'd get a handful of angry texts and then they'd all go quiet. Yeah, nope. Instead, it's been group chats, urgent phone calls, and more guilt trips than I knew they had in them. Here's how it's been shaking out. First off, Caleb walks in holding my phone. I left it charging in his kitchen and says, "Dude, your family's blowing up my messenger now." I check and sure enough, there's a pile of missed calls, a bunch from Dad, a couple from Aunt Diane, even one from Uncle Frank. Not gonna lie, I thought about ignoring them all. But then I saw one from my mom and figured, maybe she'd be chill for once. Nope. She picks up and launches right into it. "Why are you doing this to us? Your brother's future is on the line. You're tearing the family apart." I tell her straight. Dad sold my car and told me I was dead to him. So I left. Click. She hangs up. I hear a door slam before the call ends. Then Ethan texts me, which is weird. He barely ever messages me directly. Says, "Dad's flipped out. He's blaming me for everything. Says I need to get the college account fixed or he's pulling me out." I ask him, "Did you even want to go?" He waits a minute, then replies, "Not really. But Dad says it's an investment." I shoot back, "You're not an investment. You're a person." He leaves me on read. So I'm sitting on Caleb's couch, eating stale chips and waiting for the next explosion. Around noon, I get a DM from this lady we know from neighborhood barbecues. She says Dad's been calling around begging for help with the water bill, says he can't get into his account. She asks if everything's okay at home. I just reply, yeah, I moved out. Dad's on his own now. She sends me a thumbs up emoji. That's it. Later that day, I see Dad post this long, dramatic rant on Facebook, totally public, about how kids these days have no respect and don't understand family sacrifice. Tags Aunt Diane and Uncle Frank, and of course they both comment, "We've got your back," and family first, always. But then my cousin Rachel chimes in and asks, what happened to Logan's car? And suddenly, silence. Nobody wants to touch that one. Around 4, Caleb and I are watching dumb YouTube videos, and I hear a car outside. Uncle Frank. He walks up, knocks on the door, just stands there like he owns the place. Caleb answers. Frank goes, "Logan here? We need to talk." I step out, and he skips the pleasantries. "You need to fix this. Your dad can't pay the bills. Your brother's in trouble. We're all trying to help, and you're being selfish." I tell him flat out, I'm not responsible for Dad's disaster. Nobody treated me like family unless they needed something, money or labor. I'm done playing that game. He gets heated, steps forward and shoves me. Caleb jumps in, says, "Back off, man." Frank snaps, "You're just like your dad, always starting problems." I go, "Maybe take a look at how you treat people who don't roll over for you." He turns beet red, mutters something about ungrateful kids, and storms off, slamming the gate behind him. After that, my phone blows up again. Family texts. Random numbers. I guess Dad's been passing my number around. One message is from Aunt Janet, who I haven't talked to in years. She asks, "Did you really steal from your father?" I just send her a photo of the car title, with his name on it, and screenshots of the bill receipts I paid all year. No reply. Then, out of nowhere, Ethan shows up at Caleb's. On his bike, looking like he hasn't slept in a week. Comes in, grabs a glass of water, and sits down without saying anything for 10 minutes. Finally, he goes, "Dad's telling everyone you're a thief, that you wrecked everything. Grandma's threatening to pull his loan." I ask him, "Are you okay?" He shakes his head. "I'm tired of being the favorite if it means I get blamed for everything." He says he wishes he could just leave. I tell him, "You can, but you've got to want it." He says, "I don't know." We talk a bit, just normal stuff for once. He asks what I'm going to do next. I say, I'm not letting Dad walk over me again. If they want me gone, fine. But I'm not going quietly. Later that night, my mom sends a text. Just her. No group chat. She says, "Your dad's losing it. He's yelling at everyone, slamming his hand on the table, making threats. I wish you'd talk to him, but I get it." I don't answer. Later, I check the family group chat. It's turned into a war zone. Uncle Frank and Aunt Diane are blaming each other. Rachel's saying the whole thing's unfair. Grandma's chiming in with, "I'm ashamed of all of you." Then someone shares a screenshot of Dad's rant about leeches in the family, and about half the cousins exit the chat. Maddie leaves too. I almost laughed. The weirdest part? Ethan's actually reaching out to me now, asking how I'm doing. He told Dad he's not going to college if it means tearing the family apart. Dad lost it. Shoved him against the wall, then stormed outside and started yelling at the neighbors about how ungrateful his kids are. Ethan says Mom tried to intervene, and Dad shoved her too. That's when Aunt Diane broke down crying and Uncle Frank started yelling back at him, telling him he's out of control. Now the whole family's fractured. Nobody's talking. Dad's out there embarrassing himself in front of the whole neighborhood. Ethan says he's thinking about moving in with a friend if things keep spiraling. I tell him he's welcome to crash at Caleb's if he needs a place. Caleb just shrugs and says, "Sure." For the first time, it feels like I actually did something right. Not just for myself, but maybe for Ethan, too. I'm not fixing their mess, but I'm not letting them rewrite the story either. There's still drama going down back at the house. I left that packet in my old desk. They haven't found it yet, but once they do, it's going to set off a whole new firestorm. I'll update if anything explodes. Final update. So yeah, it happened. Not gonna lie, this is kind of surreal to write. I always figured these revenge stories online were either made up or just hyped for drama. But this one's real. It's ugly. It's personal. And honestly, it's exactly what I wanted. Thanks for sticking around and listening to my story.